What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Cosplay Chris, and this is also a cosplay custom collectible. I guess you could say it's classed as one. Today we are going to be pimping out and weathering this Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 costume courtesy of Leather Fashion Valley. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give the fucker away. No catch, no nothing. Again, we're going to dirty this up, make it all nice and manky and gnarly, get some nice battle damage on there, and yeah, just give it away. And at the end of the video, I'll let you guys know how you can enter to possibly win this. And again, there's just no catch. I just want to pay it forward and give this thing away. Leather Fashion Valley were gracious enough to send this to me to do like a review and also pimp it out, much like what I did with their Wolverine costume several months ago. And again, they sent it free of charge, and I feel like it's the best way to pay it forward. It might not even fit you. It's just a cool display piece to have because it is a beautiful costume. And the cool thing is, you can put this thing on by yourself. All the zippers, all the Velcros, all the nooks and crannies are at the front. You don't have zippers at the back where you're like... Now, the structure of the suit is very similar to their Captain America suits. You have like a vented undersuit, and then you have the bib on top. So the battle damage we're going to be going for is much like the battle damage seen at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, in terms of the aesthetic, I'm going for Drax's costume. Like, there's just scuffing, burns, everything. It's a dusty looking suit. We've also got to refine a few things before we get to the actual weathering. We've got to add some Velcros here and there. We've got to tighten a few things. We've got to glue down a few things using some good old-fashioned cheap and nasty super glue. So the first step is I've got to take this thing off, get naked, put it on my mannequin. So with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so the first step is we're going to be adding some Velcro to portions of the suit, but we're going to start off this area here. So we've got a Velcro here, but we don't have a Velcro here, and it just makes sense to kind of seal this up here on the actual bib. So I've just got some self-adhering Velcro, but I'm also going to be backing it up with some good old-fashioned cheap and nasty super glue. So once this portion has been glued down, just let it set for about half an hour. I'm then going to pop this on my mannequin, and I'm going to go in and tighten these straps. They're a bit loose at the moment, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's pop this Velcro on first. Now, before I put the bib on my mannequin, a little tip if you need some extra filling out in terms of muscles and stuff like that. So this is an athletic shirt I got from Kmart, and these here are foam muscles. These are lats that were part of a spare muscle kit that I had lying around. Now, I'd like to think that I do have big lats, but there are times where it just doesn't show through on a costume. So by having this under your costume, it's just going to give you a bit more oomph in the lat department and give you that nice V taper. So just a little hint, I use this with all my cosplays. It's really good with the Phantom cosplay as well. Okay, cool. So we've got some loose pieces up here around the shoulder girdle. So we've got this loose strap here that I'm going to cut at the back and just pull it down and tighten it with some more cheap and nasty. And then glue down this piece here and all the way along the back. Again, it just will keep everything nice and streamlined. Not too sure why it's loose, but anyway, we'll just glue it down just in case. Now I've got these loose straps here. They're kind of just sewn on the pleather here, but we've got an actual metal buckle here. So I'm gonna quick unpick this area and then pull them forward and glue the buckles on here just so it's nice, tight, and aesthetically pleasing. Okay, before we start the overall weathering process, I'm just going to put a strip of Velcro on the back of both gauntlets and then the corresponding piece of Velcro on the actual suit, just so these are going to stay in place and not slip and slide around your forearms. Now I'm just gonna pretty up and weather up the chest logo before we go ahead and start to do all the battle damage. So I've just got a heavy body Liquitex Ivory Black that I'm just gonna stipple all over the chest emblem. We're then gonna dry brush a gold over the raised areas. So essentially, we're gonna make this look pristine and then dial it back with the weathering. But obviously I wanna pick up all the beautiful detail on the actual chest emblem before we go ahead and start the heavy battle damage. And we're just gonna grab a gold leaf rub and buff and drag it over the chest emblem, and that it's gonna highlight all those beautiful raised areas, like so. Look at that. Right before your eyes, beautiful. There you go, and just gives it a nice metallic finish. Okay, here comes the fun part, geeks and geekettes. It's time to do the overall dirty battle damage. So, in terms of the aesthetic, I'm going for a hybrid mix of Nebula's suit and Drax's suit in terms of the scuffing, the battle damage, and the colorizing of the materials. I'm gonna be grabbing my Ryobi rotary tool with the cutting wheel. And you see I've already started here just doing a test. So I'm gonna be trying to match it as close as I can. But again, doing a hybrid of Nebula's battle damage and Drax's battle damage. So once I'm happy with the overall scuffing, I'm then gonna grab some liquid latex, seal up all the areas, and also just give it a bit of texture, stippling, just to kind of emulate burns. Like the surface of the suit has copped a flame. Some parts are more burnt than others. Okie dokie, when it comes to the belt buckle, it's pretty straightforward. Like the overall design on the screen used belts is pretty simple, but we're gonna zhazh it up a bit. So I've got some flat mats here from Bunnings. I've got a smooth one and I've got a ribbed one. So we've got the pieces here. So we're gonna be emulating the original buckle here. You wouldn't even call this a buckle. It's just like pleather stitched together. But we've followed these templates, as you can see right here for these ones. And the ribbed one is gonna go under here. So we're gonna glue this down first and then glue these two on top. Now, what I've seen with Nebula's buckle, again, the suit in terms of weathering and overall aesthetic is a hybrid of Drax's and Nebula's. On Nebula's one, on the left-hand side of her buckle, there are two rivets here. So I'm just gonna be gluing those in place. These are just spare rapid rivets, nickel-plated rapid rivets for that matter that I had lying around. And once this is set, dry, the glue's done its thing, we can then go in and start weathering this along with the rest of the suit. So before we do the liquid latex method, we're gonna go in and do a cheeky overall dust weathering. Now, initially I was gonna be using Johnson's baby powder, or if you're Moira Rose, baby powder, but I found it didn't soak into the fabric properly. But you see right here, I've done a test and it really lightens the blue and fades the blue. It's a titanium white oil color, getting as little as possible on your brush and really going ham and wiping it all over the surface. And you can see already, just picks up all the beautiful texture of the fabric and also fades and lightens that blue. So I'm gonna continue this step all over the entire suit. Then we can start on the liquid latex method / step and add those burns and really gnarly this costume up.
So in terms of the liquid latex, I had to buy this one off from Spotlight because every other craft liquid latex is sold out, whether it be at Eckersley's, Spotlight, Bunnings, stuff like that. So this is mostly used for special effects, makeup and stuff like that, but it is pretty much the same liquid latex you would find at a craft store. My other pot of liquid latex has unfortunately seized up, dried up, and is just a big rubber block at this point. So what I'm gonna do is squeeze some into this cut-off paper cup and mix it with some brown earth acrylic paint, because from what I can see, the base color is definitely some sort of a burnt sienna, burnt umber, raw umber. So this is a pretty good consistency. If you do want to thicken it up, you can add some talcum powder to really chunk it up.
Alrighty, we have two more steps left in this cosplay custom collectible. So one of the steps is pretty straightforward. We're actually just going to be applying some Velcro to the back of the belt and the corresponding Velcro onto the actual bib slash vest. That way the utility belt doesn't want to go anywhere, it won't slide anywhere, and it just looks nice and neat. The last step after that is my favorite step. We're actually going to be using some Dulux Duramax Granite Effect. If you guys remember that TMNT diorama I did all those years ago, this is where I discovered this stuff. Initially, I was using it for like roads and stuff like that for model making. But what I found, if you spray it into a cup on its own without doing anything to it, it has a nice kind of misted rubble effect to it that we can apply onto this suit. But if you mix it up, you get this nice off-gray paste that really stains anything you apply it to, especially when it comes to costuming. Again, this is a hybrid of Nebula's battle damage and Drax's battle damage. So a lot of browns, but also some grays going on here. And I just feel covering it all over the entire suit in certain areas is really gonna dirty it up and gnarly it up. Now, I'm not only gonna be applying that to the suit, but also the boot spats, the gauntlets, and also the gloves. And then once that's done, we're gonna call it a day and give it away. I didn't expect that to rhyme. And there we go, geeks and geekettes, a few easy weathering steps, and this leather Fashion Valley Guardians of the Galaxy 3 costume is done and dusted. Keep in mind, I am wearing that little bit of muscle padding in the back section, just gives you that extra bit of a Dorito shape. Now, a massive thank you to Leather Fashion Valley for hooking me up with this. They make some beautiful costumes and blank canvases, and you can have a lot of fun with them. Much like what I did with the Wolverine, I also have another tactical Batman one in the works. I know I was working on a tactical Batman all those years ago, but this one, I think it's time that I see it through. I'm in love with this thing, but as promised, it's time to give it away. So in terms of how to enter, you guys know I love my puns. So I'm gonna leave a pinned comment in the comment section down below. All you have to do is tell me your best Guardians of the Galaxy pun and leave it as a comment in that pinned comment section. whichever one makes me laugh the most in the best dad joke way is gonna win this thing. It'd be preferable if you guys do have Instagram, because that's the way I'll probably be contacting you, just to get your best shipping address and stuff like that. But that's no catch, guys. Like, I'm giving this away. Whatever your best pun is, give it to me. Make sure it's Guardians of the Galaxy themed and that it's out of this world. See what I did there? Seriously though, guys, I really appreciate your continuing support with this channel, my second channel just called Chris Daly, and just all my other bombastic and wacky shenanigans. So with that being said, wherever you are in the world, please have yourselves an absolute cracker of a day. I hope you all. Hope you're happy. Be merry, be silly. And until next time, geeks and geekettes, please always remember, cosplayers do it best. The sun is shifting so much. It's crazy, but it's good. You get to see like all the different lighting situations for this costume and how the colors shift.